I just wanted to have a private life. People speculate on your personal life all the time anyway, so I just think it's important to keep my private life private and my public persona more into music, you know? But I didn't ask to have somebody nose around in my private life. I didn't even ask to be famous. All I asked was to be able to earn a living making people laugh. Of course, I like to keep my private life private. I am very adamant about keeping my private life private. I don't prefer to talk about my family. I set forth a humble and inglorious life. That does not matter. You can tie up all moral philosophy with a common and private life just as well as with a life of richer stuff. Each man bears the entire form of man's estate. Gabriel Garcia Marquez was a newspaperman originally in Colombia. He talked about, and I agree, how everybody has a public life, a private life, and a secret life. To be honest, I'm a little upset these days. My family has been exposed to the media. Some people break into our house. My ex-girlfriend's photos are circulating online. To say that these are things I need to endure for the sake of celebrity, that's sad. I want to respectfully request that my private life remain private. Keeping your private life as private as possible is the smartest thing. I like to keep some things to myself, because it's called a private life, not public. I very much dislike being interviewed by the kind of journalist who tries to dig into your private life. I do think your personal life has an impact on your tennis. If your private life is up and down, and you're thinking about what is going on back home, then you aren't solely focused on your job. But when things are good back home, it's so much easier when you're on court. It's not necessarily marriage, it's more having a stable relationship. I want someone that's caring, funny, who's similar to me, who doesn't take life too seriously, keeps their private life private and is mature. I'm sure you can imagine it's pretty frustrating to have people talking about your private life who don't know anything about it. I don't have anything to do with Elvis's private life. Most of my songs have names of people I've met or are dear to me. There are people who have privacy issues and about people knowing about their private life. But for me, I like to include few special names and few details about them to make the song very special to me. I am a public person and I have my private life. It's important for me that my private life stay private, that what I share with the people is my public personality. There are ways of avoiding becoming tabloid fodder and therefore giving people license to pry into your private life. And there's a distinction between being an actor and being a celebrity. You may become a celebrity through acting, but you don't need to do so. I'm a very private person. I like staying home and doing my stuff. I hate people invading on my privacy. I hate talking about my private life. Most children, I know I did when I was a kid, fantasize another set of parents. Or fantasize no parents. They don't tell their real parents about that. You don't want to tell mom and dad. Kids lead a very private life. And I was a typical child, I think. I was a liar. My private life stays private. Once you expose your private life, if you give one little bit, the floodgates are open and everyone's got a free range for you. It is just that all my life I have been so involved in my work that I guess one could say in general that, whenever I had to balance my private life and my profession always won out. I've always been a private person, and I've always valued my private life. These manly sentiments, in private life, make good citizens, in public life, the patriot and the hero. I like to keep my private life private. Not having a private life is hard. It's called a private life for a reason, it's mine, and it's special and sacred. I have practically no private life. I'm already used to this and ready for it. Yes, sometimes it is hard, but it is the choice I made. People assume that a self-portrait is narcissistic and you're trying to reveal something about yourself, fantasies or autobiographical information. In fact, none of my work is about me or my private life. In my private life, it was a disaster. In my public life, it was fantastic. When friends come over from Europe, they think it's going to be rainy in Seattle, but it's beautiful. It's a hidden pearl. And people here respect your private life. After The Real Thing, I thought about giving up acting because it's difficult to have a rich life outside your work when you're an actress, a private life that can survive being picked up and put down. That's what I thought, anyway. It doesn't bother me to talk about my private life. It doesn't bother me to talk about anything. My life is like a glass of water, transparent. I thought if I wanted people to take me seriously, I needed to act serious and not reveal too much of my private life so people could seriously accept me in different things. I do not recognize the right of the public to break in the front door of a man's private life in order to satisfy the gaze of the curious. I do not think it right to dissect living men even for the advancement of science. So far as I am concerned, I prefer a post-mortem examination to vivisection without anesthetics. My private life is my own business. Celebrity damages private life. I'm quite shy, so I hate seeing my private life splashed over the papers. In the end, it is because the media are driven by the power and wealth of private individuals that they turn private lives into public spectacles. If every private life is now potentially public property, it is because private property has undermined public responsibility. He who is void of virtuous attachments in private life is, or very soon will be, void of all regard for his country. There is seldom an instance of a man guilty of betraying his country, who had not before lost the feeling of moral obligations in his private connections. I'm an actress, not a politician, and my private life is my private life. There is no private life which has not been determined by a wider public life. What the actor is in private life, he is to a large extent on the stage, because he cannot conceal himself and his true personality from his audience. I found myself getting more publicly shy when the gala events and big crowds started. Some people embrace it. To me, it's not worth enough to risk my private life being public. When I die, my epitaph should read, "She paid the bills." That's the story of my private life. Keep your private life private. Be open to suggestions from different people, and just be nice. I have heard stories about people who are just plain rude to the press or fans. You can't believe the amount of speculation you get over your private life. The hardest thing about being at Sony was not the travel, it was being divorced from the public and private life I had in New York. Traveling as much as I did, while I didn't lose connection with my friends, I lost a sense of belonging. There are certain things I want to keep to me. I don't discuss my private life. Visit our website for more quotes, quoting.com.